All right, today is August 16th. I'm in the middle of the COVID, and I started memorizing the map, starting with United States, and then I tackled Africa. Europe I mostly knew, but didn't really know the location of everything, and then Asia. And so this was May 2020. I used my son's old drawing book and started practicing doing different things. This is my learning China's provinces. I started with pinyin, and then I started trying to practice writing it. And here's just with the codes. Here I try to memorize, see how many countries I knew. So that's June and June 4th, June 7th. So in the beginning I had to do it a lot more to lock it in. I try to see how many countries I actually knew. There's a whole bunch of small little countries, it turns out, that aren't really on world atlases or on the maps I was studying. And then I started learning the Chinese. So then that took a while to learn. So I've been practicing this for several months now. I'm really on the test to see how much I can remember. So I'm gonna put this here and we'll try to draw from a blank piece of paper here. This is to prove in the future that I could actually do it at one point in time. All right, let's see. The pen down here is off the paper. Okay, so we'll see how much we can get done here. All right, so today is August 16th, and we'll start with, I always start in North America. So we'll start with United States. Florida's easy, we'll start there. Texas has a little hump and it goes out, goes around, and a little lump here for Michigan. Okay, well, this is a pretty small US, so we'll see if we can fit this in. Need my glasses on here. All right. So Texas goes up, and there's this vertical pipe is about right where the hump is, and goes over, and Louisiana here. So I split up the U.S. to 4 lines. One right on the left side of this Texas stovepipe, one from Louisiana up, one from the outside Louisiana's boot up to Lake Michigan, and then the Washington, Oregon, California line. There's another line, the top of north of California, all the way across, that hits Illinois. And then a second one that cuts from Nevada, so Nevada's long and skinny, I don't have it quite right in proportions, all the way across, just across the top of Texas to get the Oklahoma gun, all the way across, and this is really where DC is. So it kind of splits the nation in half. All right, that's kind of the bisecting ones, and that's easier for me to start with those areas. And if we take this and split this in half, then we have Washington, and we'll try to say the capitals with it. So Olympia, Washington. So Olympus is where the gods were from Rome, and Maine is Augusta, so the Roman emperors on either sides. That's how I remember that. Salem, Oregon. Sacramento, California. Carson City, Nevada. Salt Lake City, Utah. Denver, Colorado. Phoenix, Arizona. And Santa Fe, New Mexico. Okay, Austin, Texas. OKC, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. All right. Okay, we got Maine up here. Then we got Montpelier, Vermont, where Bernie Sanders is from. And New Hampshire here, Concord. I think of the supersonic flight that would fly across to France. Of course, it didn't fly from New Hampshire, but that's how I remember it. Albany, New York. Boston, Massachusetts. Hartford, Connecticut. Providence, Rhode Island. All little New England states up here. Pennsylvania's below New York, and New Jersey's on the coast Then we got Michigan here. Oh, sorry. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Let's see. Trenton, New Jersey. And okay, so then we have Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana. It's much easier. Columbus, Ohio. And we got Virginia right above this line here, obviously surrounding DC. So Richmond, Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia. There's Annapolis, Maryland, where the Naval Academy is, and Dover, Delaware. So that's a nice alliteration there. Okay, we have Madison, Wisconsin here, and Springfield, Illinois. And then Kentucky here is Frankfurt. Sounds like German, but it's actually F-O-R-T. So I think of they're grilling hot dogs here, Frankfurt. Okay, Nashville, Tennessee is beneath it. So I'm thinking Elvis is going up to Kentucky to grill the hot dogs, and the Indians from Indianapolis are coming down. So everyone's having fun at Kentucky grilling Frankfurters. All right, Tennessee, Raleigh, North Carolina. And then below that is South Carolina, obviously. It's kind of a smaller piece, there's an angle there. And this is Colombia, so like the southern South American country. Florida is here. And then how I remember these next three is Gamma, so Atlanta, Georgia, Montgomery, Alabama, and Jackson, Mississippi. All right, so then I remember going south from here is Minnesota. Let's see, St. Paul, Minnesota, Des Moines, Iowa. So there's three I's here, I in a row here. And then I think of Mimal, M-I-M-A-L. Missouri is right opposite Kansas. So those two are really the center of the country. Let's see, Des Moines is actually of the field. So I'm thinking monks are, of the monks are in the fields or something like that, Des Moines. And Missouri is, it's M-I-S-S, kind of like Mississippi, but I'm thinking Miss is like Jefferson City. Jefferson was very gentlemanly. And Arkansas, A-K, Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay, we got Kansas here, and then north of Kansas is Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, named after our president. North Dakota and South Dakota, and this is Bismarck and Pierre, so a German name and a French name. And then we got the stovepipe here in Boise, Idaho. This was the final Jeopardy question, where it was the little touching Canada, the stovepipe, this was it. And Montana, open country here, wide open country, and Helena, so Helena, Montana, both in A. And finally, Cheyenne, Wyoming. Okay, and, well, not really finally, Juneau, Alaska, and Honolulu, Hawaii. All right, I think I got all 50. Maybe I missed one or two, but hopefully that got it. And then let's do Canada and our northern shore here. And they're kind of really broken up, and I tried to do the provinces. So this is Hudson Bay, and you got Yukon. So Yukon sounds familiar, kind of where the Alaska touches, and they're doing sledding with the Huskies. And then there's the Northwest Territories, and none, like none in a habit of it. There's no dashes, but that's how I remember it. Okay, so then there's British Columbia with Vancouver and the island over here. And then we have Alberta. And then we have Manitoba. Oh, sorry. No, we don't have Manitoba yet. That's Albert Saskatchewan, on. So I kind of broke it up. A sassy cat chew on something. Then Manitoba right in the middle. Manitoba. And then the part that becomes more familiar is Ontario with Toronto here on the Great Lakes, and Quebec with Montreal. So the French sounding name. Okay, we're at 10 minutes. Okay, and then on the side here, and I'm not super sure around here, but there's Newfoundland, Finland. So they found this land here, and Labrador, the dog. So it's kind of funny that the name of this province is actually a double name. Then there's another New, so Nova Scotia, so New, and New Brunswick, which I think of like the bowling alley, New Brunswick. So all 3 News over here, and there's a Prince Edward Island here as well. Okay, off the coast is this huge place, Greenland, and then we'll get Iceland while we're at it over here. Obviously, there's a huge Atlantic here separating North America from Europe. All right, then we'll go down to Mexico. Mexico has a little lump here, and then we get to South America here. So huge part of Mexico. Haven't memorized all the provinces here, but there's like Sonora and Chihuahua and a bunch of other ones. Okay, so let's do Central America, which was the big invisible area to me. Okay, so here's Cuba and Dominican Republic and Bermuda's here. Jamaica's over here somewhere. Okay, so I use all these acronyms. So be good, so B, Belize, good, Guatemala, and Hells, Honduras, El Salvador. So HEL for Honduran El Salvador is no crap. So no Nicaragua, crap, Costa Rica, and Panama. Be good. Hells, no crap. Okay, CR for Costa Rica and the P for Panama. So Panama then connects to South America and kind of roughly looks something like that. We're getting cut off, so I'll come down a little bit. Okay, let's see if that, no, that's even further out. All right, trying to get this angle right. Okay, how about that? Okay, good. And so then we got Colombia, really where Panama hits, Venezuela. So cook very good, Guyana, with a Y here. Suriname. And of course the French cook good. So French Guyana, it's like this Guyana, except it's spelled with an I instead of a Y. So cook very good, sir. French, whatever, French cook. So that's kind of the northern part of Brazil. And Guyana was a Final Jeopardy answer as well, where it was the only country that had English as an official language. We all get Suriname, but it was Guyana. Okay, so eat, so Ecuador, peanut, Peru, butter is Bolivia, right in the middle of the country, and Brazil, eat peanut butter bread. Brazil kind of wraps around here, so Ecuador is here, Peru is here. Brazil basically just takes up the rest of the South America that the other countries aren't taking. Okay, so that's eat peanut butter bread, and then the rest of the countries is, here's Chile, long little strip down the side. Argentina holds the south part of Central America, South America, and then we got kaput. So this is Paraguay and Uruguay, and they're just little pieces over here. So I say CAPU, kaput, and I just kind of stuck in a T, so kaput. So there's 3 acronyms I use to kind of memorize South America. All right, so good so far. We got a third of the map done. We'll draw a line here. Start with Africa, and it kind of matches South America, but it's a lot more countries, so I'll kind of, okay, goes up and sticks a little higher maybe. Goes up, sticks out, and then it goes up at an angle. So roughly it's a little fatter, but that's good enough. Okay, so I split the north part of Africa, and it spells male, a little male chauvinist there, and so that's Morocco, Algeria, Libya, and Egypt. And then there's a little V here with Tunisia. Okay, Tunisia is really where it kind of dips down a little bit here, and Italy's boot is here, and it's kicking Sicily and Malta. So you can think about, the Romans coming across, and Carthage was around here, and they would kind of march through and use Sicily as a landing area. Okay, so critical in Malta, just the little dot here was critical because it was right in the middle of the Mediterranean. Okay, so we got male, and then we got Egypt, so we got 3 E's here, Eritrea and Ethiopia, and then right around this bend here was Somalia, and then we got DJ here, Djibouti. I didn't even know it was a country. Okay, and then Kenya is one of the big players here. I've heard of Kenya, heard of Ethiopia, so Kenya's here, and it's right next to Lake Victoria, which is what feeds the Nile. So really important lake, comes up a bunch of times. Prince Albert, I think, lake or something like that, is Lake Albert is there. So around Lake Victoria, there's let's see, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. All right, let's start with the south. The third of South America starts, South Africa starts with South Africa. And in South Africa, there's 2 countries, Lesotho and Swaziland. I think one of them changed their names. I forgot which one. So anyway, it's kind of interesting being embedded in South Africa. Then there's, I remember, SNAS. Okay, so it surrounds South Africa, and then in the middle of here is Botswana. So I just have to remember that one. So Namibia, Angola, Zambia, Zimbabwe. Okay, Namibia, Angola, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Okay, up the coast is Mozambique, and then big island off here, made famous by Disney, Madagascar, huge island here. Little guy here is Comoros. I think of like Camaro, spelled with a O instead of an A. And then Seychelles is the little islands over here. So I've heard of them before. And then between Madagascar and Kenya is Tanzania, not to be confused with Tasmania in Australia over here, which I had confused for a while. All right, under Egypt is Sudan and South Sudan. So that's kind of easy that they're together. And under south of Libya is Chad. It's really kind of like the heart right here in the center, northern Africa. And then really what's in the center, and they call it that, is Central African Republic, which spells car. And then the big guy in the middle here is, in fact, all the way around Rwanda and them, is Democratic Republic of the Congo. So I guess there's another Congo that kind of goes up here. That must be the non-democratic one. And here's Gabon. I think they just, the monkeys are just gabbing on and on and on, just won't shut up in the trees. And then here's Equatorial Guinea. It's a lot of Guineas here. So there's Guyana, there's Guinea here, there's New Guinea here, Papua New Guinea here. So Equatorial Guinea was the Jeopardy answer because it's right near the equator. And they said, what's the name of a country with a map word in it, something like that. So it's Equatorial Guinea. There's little islands here, Sao Tome and Principe. It's a pretty nice rhyming name over here, little islands over here. Okay, the anchor here is right on the elbow is Nigeria, and then Niger goes all the way up. So you kind of get 2 for 1, just like Sudan and South Sudan. You get Nigeria and Niger next to each other. And then right in this crack between Nigeria and Gabon and Central Africa to the right is Cameroon. All right, and then we have the 3 M's, Morocco, which kind of goes, it's kind of like this on the edge here, and then Mauritania. It's in the news right now because there's this barge out here, oil tanker that's splitting in half, and Mali. Okay, is it Mali, something like that. Anyway, 3 M's in a row here. And then there's a whole bunch of countries here. Right in the corner is Liberia. I think Kyle told me that they were, when the blacks were being sent back from the US, they were thinking they could get a country here. I don't know if they were sent there or whatever, but Liberia was it. I'll name all these countries down here. And then right here, kind of buried in between these small countries and the 3 M's is Birkin. I think of Birkenstocks. Faso, F-A-S-O. I think of Birkin, Fatso without the T, like it's a fat person wearing Birkenstocks. That's not a very pleasant visual, but that's how I remember it. Okay, so going down from these countries all along the coast here, first there's SGGGS, okay, Senegal, Gambia, here's another Guinea, and then dash Bissau, B-I-S-S-A-U, and then another Guinea, just Guinea, so this must be the original. Everybody's playing off of his name to her name, whatever, and Sierra Leone. Okay, so that's SGGS, and then we get Liberia, and then we get this, probably the coolest name, Cote with this little hat on the O, Cote d'Ivoire. Another Final Jeopardy name, I think was, was a French name or something like that. So that's French, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, the coast of Ivory, and then I think about from Cote d'Ivoire, there's 3 countries between that and Nigeria, the richest country in South Africa. How do we remember that? I think Ghana, G-A-H-A-N-A, Ghana, go to Togo, which is a sandwich shop in Northern California. Have you been in, B-E-N-I-N, have you been in Nigeria? All right, so that's all the countries there. I think I got most of the countries in Africa here. We're at the 23 mark. Let's go into Europe. All right, so it goes across and down, and here is Gibraltar. It should be a very narrow gap here, so obviously my map's not really to scale. Portugal and Spain kind of basically form a diamond here. So Portugal, Spain, España, yes. And then the Pyrenees Mountains separates Spain from France. There's the Bay of Biscay, kind of like a biscuit, Bay of Biscay. And France looks like a star, kind of like a star, and that's just the way the French think of themselves, so they're stars all the time. And then, so France, Germany, Denmark, so you can see they're all on top of each other, and that's why they get in wars all the time. And Belgium and Netherlands here. And then little island here called the UK and Ireland, and Northern Ireland. It's amazing that this little isle here conquered most of the world for a while. Just kind of sitting on this little curve here. As we mentioned, there's Italy, Sicily, Sardinia, like sardines, and then Corsica, where Napoleon's from. This little island on top, north of Sardinia. It's actually part of France, which I always thought before that was part of Italy, but makes sense. Corsica had a coarse accent that Napoleon always had a difficult time getting over while he was the Emperor of France. Okay, and then we have Switzerland, you know, playing safe with hiding around their mountains, the Alps here. Austria, which is tied closely to Germany. The Habsburgs and all those, the Holy Roman Empire there. And Hungary, Budapest, Hungary, very famous with the Budapest here. And then Poland is actually quite large here in space, territorial size-wise. So then we kind of go up and we have the three fingers that come down. There's this bay. Okay, so when I was in, I don't know if it was middle school or high school, learning the European map, I remember the phrase, never swim fast, to remember Norway, Sweden, and Finland. But now it spells with the country codes nose fi. Kind of funny. Oslo, Stockholm, and Helsinki. Copenhagen for Denmark. Brussels for Belgium. Amsterdam for Netherlands. Obviously London. Belfast for North Ireland. Can't say Iceland's Reykjavik or whatever. Lisbon, Madrid, obviously Paris, Berlin, Warsaw. Bern for Switzerland. I don't know why it's CH. Vienna for Austria, gorgeous city. Rome for Italy. Okay, then we come across, and then here's the tip of that is Greece, where we had beginning of Western civilization, and curves out, it goes down, something like that. And over here, and so this is Crete, where the Minotaur is, and Cyprus, so two big islands here. This is the Adriatic Sea, and that's come up a bunch of times and in Jeopardy, so it's good to know that place. And then Ionian Sea. No, sorry, that's the Aegean. And then the Ionian's like here. And then, of course, this whole thing is the Mediterranean. Okay, these are the Balkans, which I will go up to here to write because there's no space here. It used to be all Yugoslavia, but they all kind of got packed in. So on the top is Slovenia. Not a very nice name. I think of Italy going over to, so let's see, we'll get this here is the Black Sea. So you think this is the Bosporus Straits. So very important shipping lane here, controlled by Turkey, with Istanbul right on the critical port area. So it's like a kidney bean, Black Sea, and you got Bulgaria, so it's bulging out, Bulgaria, with a very sophisticated Sofia as the capital name. And then you got Romania, so I guess it used to be, very proud of their relationship with Rome. And Bucharest, Romania. Blank for a second there. Okay, so let's go down from here. There's the three Baltic. Here's Baltic Sea. So here's the three Baltics. So there's EE. I was an electrical engineer, so this is Estonia, loves, which is short for Latvia or LV, and Lithuania. So that's EE, love, Lithuania. So that's kind of the 3 countries in the Baltic. And right to the east of it, of these Baltic countries, is Belarus, with Minsk as their capital. I think of like mink coats, beautiful women dressing in the cold mink coats, and Ukraine, which has the easy to remember country code of UA for United Airlines, and Kiev is the capital of Ukraine. So north of the Black Sea, Ukraine is actually a huge area here, and then there's a really unfortunately named country, Moldova, somewhere in the middle of Ukraine near the northwest of the Black Sea. All right, so we'll go back to the Balkans. So I was saying from Italy, right across the top here is Slovenia heading across. And then on the east coast, opposite Italy, opposite the Adriatic, is then we have Croatia, beautiful area that I want to visit. And then Bosnia-Herzegovina, Montenegro, and then Albany. Kind of like Albany, New York, just above Greece. So the Greeks, maybe that's why New York was called Albany there. I don't know. Then there is Macedonia, Mac. So the Macedonians and the Greeks were always coming. Alexander the Great was a Macedonian, so it's right above Greece. And then we have a small little Kosovo and Serbia, Belgrade, Serbia there. So those are the Balkans. Most of them, I don't know if all of them, used to be Yugoslavia. It would be certainly much easier if they were just one country, but now they've kind of splintered off all into their own little countries. Okay, so we got Europe covered here, and right here is the Caspian Sea. I'm trying to use cursive for the bodies of water, separate it from the countries. Caspian Sea, Black Sea, they're about the same size, or looks like it on the map. Between them is Georgia, sounding like the state Georgia here in the US. And then there's Armenia and Azerbaijan. It looks like Amazon to me, and if you do the country codes. So that's how I kind of remember the sequence there. All right, we got the Red Sea here with the Suez Canal, and out here is, it kind of kicks out just like this little kick there and up around. And this is the Persian Gulf, where we have all our warships and everything to protect the oil. Saudi Arabia, also SA, like South Africa. And then you got Yemen and Oman. Oh, do I have the right order? One of them's Oman. So it's like, oh man, Yemen, oh man. And then UAE, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, no, Qatar and Kuwait. Shoot, I forget which one is north and south. I can't remember. Okay, one of them's there, one's there. And we got Jordan and Israel and Lebanon and Syria. So Ankara, Turkey, Damascus, Syria, Beirut, Lebanon, Jerusalem, Israel. I forgot what Jordan's is. Let's see, Rabat is Saudi Arabia's, and Ankara is Turkey's, right? Okay, so the two main rivers that created Mesopotamia, between them, where it's the cradle of civilization. My ancient history teacher would be proud of me remembering that, flowing into the Persian Gulf, Tigris and Euphrates. I just read the Genesis, and Euphrates is actually mentioned there. And in this key cradle of civilization, first you got Iraq over here, and then Iran's the big much bigger country over there. Tehran, Iran, both N and AN, and so Iraq gets the Baghdad. That's the other capital there. By the way, Russia is way up here. Russia, motherland, and Moscow is much closer than I thought to Europe. So at first I thought Moscow was over here somewhere, and I was thinking Napoleon and Hitler were both crazy to think about going from here all the way over, but I guess it was much closer. Nevertheless, this must be some killer land, dead land here, and of course the slash and burn, scorched earth policy to retreat to Moscow and trap the enemies. Typical Russians sacrificing millions of lives to save the motherland. All right, now we're getting into Asia. So Middle East here, and then we get to Asia. This was kind of fun memorizing the stands over here. So across the top of the Caspian is Kazakhstan, and then there's 7 stands kind of forming a star right here in the middle. So Uzbeki, and then Turkmeni. So I think the Turks and Turkey, they're the closer side. That helps remember that Tajiki is on this side. I think Tajiki sounds like the sauce that you the white sauce, the yogurt sauce you put in gyros. And then Kyrgyz stand, so 2 Ks over there. Okay. And then between Iran and Asia is Afghanistan. And then we go over here, and then we got India. I'm going to draw long and narrow because I'm out of space here. Across. Then we'll come down for the South East Asian countries. A little loop here, a little sack. And it comes out, goes up. This is Korea. So there's South Korea and North Korea and Japan off my edge of my map. Let's see. Yep, it's on there. And then Taiwan over here. Okay, and then Sri Lanka and India. All right, so that got short shrift here. India has a kind of a nice cap on top. On one side, you know, these are the mountains, the Himalayas, is Nepal. Oh, sorry, Nepal's on the other side. This is Pakistan, so separate, you know, split off from India when they got their freedom, and they all the Muslims were deported basically to Pakistan. And Pakistan goes all the way up, so Afghanistan, Pakistan cover this whole area here. China does a curve over here, and then the kind of eye of, what's the Tolkien guy, the big eye, eye of Sora, I can't remember the name, but that's in Asia. It's Mongolia. Genghis Khan coming, galloping across and getting all the way almost to the gates of, I think, near Italy, I think. But anyway, crazy, the Golden Horde going across, burning and slashing. Although, if you go to Mongolia, Genghis Khan is obviously quite the hero, and they talk about how he was, once he conquered the city, he was very open, allowing people to have their own cultures, and one of the most tolerant of different religions, which was very unheard of back then. All right, so then we got Bangladesh, so 1B here, and then Bhutan, kind of measuring gross national happiness over GDP, and I just remember it as Burma, but it's actually now called Myanmar. So 3 Bs. And then, like I said, Nepal on this side. So on both sides of the Himalayas, Nepal, right? Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal, really close to Tibet here. Islamabad in Pakistan was just a answer in Final Jeopardy the other day what the former name was before they changed it to Islamabad. Can't remember what the name was now. Okay, and then we go down south. So Myanmar kind of wraps around here, and then Thailand, and then I think of TLC, Tender Loving Care, or the Michael Jackson song. So Laos and Cambodia, and then Vietnam wraps around the outside of this little hump here. Thailand, Malaysia kind of takes over halfway down here, and Singapore is known as the little red dot. They taken this slur from Malaysian and took it for their own and called themselves the little red dot, literally at the tip of Malaysia. Once part of Malaysia, kicked out of Malaysia, Lee Kuan Yew, the savior and founder of Singapore, really, gathered the strength of the country and made it into the wonderful, amazing country today. Obviously with some strong army and stuff, but had to get it done. Okay, there's the Arabian Sea here, obviously near Arab country here, Arabian Sea, and then Bay of Bengal, like Bengal tigers. So that's kind of how I remember that in New Delhi. It's over here somewhere. And the Ganges kind of flows, the famous holy river flows there. And then we have Indonesia, so Sumatra, I forget, and Borneo. So the big islands and hundreds of islands make up Indonesia. And they're splitting Borneo with Malaysia. So Malaysia kind of covers two areas. Oh, and then the Philippines. South China Sea is right around here, and that's where all the fight is for China setting up their islands. And then Hainan here. So this is still Indonesia. And then little Brunei is kind of hanging off somewhere over here. There's Papua New Guinea over here, splitting that island. And way down here is Australia and New Zealand. For the switch pencils here, running out of sharpness here. And Australia, just the provinces or whatever they call them there, Queensland. So I'm thinking that's where the ship from UK sailed all the way over to drop off their prisoners, and they gave credit and called it to the Queen. New South Wales, because they miss their whales in the UK, and then Victoria again to celebrate their Queen. By the way, in Jeopardy, Queen Victoria is a very popular answer. So if it's not Queen Elizabeth, if it's not in the 20th century, then try guessing Queen Victoria. And then Australia is very polite, naming the rest of the provinces directionally. So northern, western, and southern Australia. So that makes it so much easier. And then south here, off my map here, is Tasmania, the Tasmanian devil, made famous. I forgot which cartoon. Is it Bugs Bunny or one of those? But it's right south here. And then New Zealand is just kind of a little bit the neighboring island here. All right, let's go back up here. I think I got all those countries here. I got all those. Okay, and then we wrap up with China. China, they think of it as like a chicken. So the head kind of goes off here. It kind of crowds into Russia, northern area, and near North Korea and South Korea. And that's why China's very careful about North Korea. So first we have Hei, which means black. Hei Long, which means dragon. Heilongjiang, HLJ. Heilongjiang, Black Dragon. Jiang is the northernmost province, interacting a lot with the Russians. And then we got Jiling. Jiling, the left radical, that's a scholar with an open mouth in the trees. So very learned. Ling, Ji Ling. So Ling is in forest. So those are trees there. Two trees next to each other is a forest. Okay, and then Liao Ning. Liao, I like this radical. That's kind of cool, fun to write. Liao. And then Ning is a nail, ding under a cap. So Liao Ning. Okay, so those are the three northeastern provinces. Dongbei, north, actually in Chinese it's east-north, but in American English we'll say northeast. Okay, capital of China, Beijing. So Bei is north, Beijing. Put a cap on top. Okay, Beijing. And then Tianjin is to the east and it goes in the water. So they're right next to each other. Tian is sky, Jing, three waters. The radical on the left, the three dots there indicates water. And then we have this character that we'll see in some form or another pretty frequently. Okay, so Tianjin, Beijing and Tianjin. Just south of Tianjin is Shandong. San is mountain, it looks like a mountain, and Dong is east. It's an easier way, simplified Chinese is much easier writing some of these characters. So as complex as these look, they're already simplified. Okay, south of Shandong is Jiangsu. So the same Jiang as Heilong Jiang up here, that same character. And Jiangsu has, this is the grass radical on top. It looks like a cleaver to me with two little wings out. So Jiangsu. And then we have Shanghai, where I lived for a while. So Sang is up, and then of course the Sandian Sui, the three water radical, three dots, the water radical in Shanghai. So up sea is literally the translation of Shanghai. Okay, and then we have Jiangsu. Jiangsu is there. Zhejiang, very rich province around Shanghai. So three waters. They got the hand radical. So 三点水, 手字旁. So 三指水 is three waters. 手字旁 is the hand. And then I think of this as FT is Fortune magazine because they're really rich. So they use their hands to make their money by the water in Jiangsu. And guess what? It's the same Jiangsu. Sorry, Zhejiang. Oh, God. Zhe and then Jiang, same Jiang over there. All right, and then while we're at it, we'll finish off the Jiang. There's a Jiangxi West over here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 characters. 4 times Jiang is used in Chinese provinces, so very popular character. Okay, so west of Taiwan, right on this coast of China, is Fujian. Fu is actually wealth and prosperity, I guess. So this radical here is kind of fun. And then one line, so one, Chinese for one, square is mouth, and then a square with a plus in it is tian for fields. So it just kind of builds on top of each other. A single line, an open, a square, and a square with a field in it. So that just means wealthy, prosperous. Fu, Jian. And Jian, I think, kind of like this radical in Liaoning, except they're a little bit more sophisticated. So they think of themselves as more sophisticated down south. So it cuts over, and then you get a long line across. So it looks very similar, but slightly different. And then it uses the same character at the side of Tianjin without the Sandian Sui, without the water. So boom, 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 down. Okay, I think it actually sticks out a little bit. Okay, Taiwan, 1, 2 in the middle, and then the outside one. Stroke order is important. So if you write it in the wrong order, Chinese will slap your hand. Taiwan. And then Hainan, Hai is sea, just like Shanghai, the Hai. So 3 waters, we know because it's in the sea. Hainan is south. So the sea in the south. So Hainan was like the Australia of the UK. This is where the edge of the world for China, and they sent their prisoners there in the beginning. Now it's a paradise island. Sanya is there, and it's like the Hawaii of China now. The resorts are gorgeous. When I was there about 10 years ago, we would joke that the hardware was there, meaning the hotels look gorgeous, but the software wasn't quite there, so the services weren't quite right yet. Okay, so and then let's finish off the eastern seaboard here, and we have Anhui, where my hometown is from, ancestry. So a house on a roof on top of a woman is peace. An is peaceful. Not quite sure I agreed with that, but that's how you remember that. There's a rooftop and a woman character underneath. And then one of the most complex characters here, there's 3 big pieces. I don't know how you normally squeeze it in. So there's the car radical to the side, ch, and then a little mountain on top, just like Shandong. 1. This character is in Bopomofo, which is the Taiwan way of doing pinyin with characters, and then a little shout, small to the side, and then this radical to the side, the whole length of it. It looks like a little chair to me. So, got to pack a lot in that little space there. And it's supposed to be the same size. Obviously, I can't get my proportions correct in my Chinese characters. Okay, so I kind of think about, I broke these provinces up into sections. So northern, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I kind of wrap these guys together, and then down the side, the east coast, I also did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Shanghai is kind of like a special. So it's actually 5 plus 1 is 6. And then across the southern side, I also have 5. So Fujian is there, and then Guang. Easy character. Guang is, I think means light or wide open, something like that. And Guangdong is east, just like Shandong. And then, thank goodness, they were very polite. They made Guangdong and Guangxi next to each other, so it's easy, east and west. Okay, and then we have just north of all the Southeast Asian is Ring, cloud, Ring. So there's 2 clouds on top with this little boomerang-like character that's over Taiwan, Ring, and then Nan, south again. So it's clouds in the south. How poetic, right? Okay, Ring Nan. And I think I stuck one more province in with there to make it 5. Let's see, I guess I'll call it Gui. So Gui is expensive, not quite as prosperity, but expensive. It has a Zhong, which is central, which is actually my first name in Chinese. A cap, and then a person. So first, I just think of my first name is somehow related to being expensive with a person on top. And then over here is Sichuan. The number, it's actually just number 4. Sichuan is, it's a curved line, and then 2 straight lines is the province for Sichuan. The spicy food is from there. Well, Guizhou also has spicy food, and it's like the Chuan here, except it has little dashes next to it. So curved line, another dash, straight line, dash straight line. So once you know how to write Cuan, Sichuan the Cuan, then you can write Zhou, which means province, Guizhou, expensive province. All right. So if we kind of wrap these guys up, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the south. All right, good. Now let's do the San. So here's Shandong Eastern Mountain, and there's San, same mountain, Shi Western Mountain. Okay, and then there's, in English, there's Shanxi, Shanxi, and then there's the one with double A, so Shanxi is just recognizing the tones are different, which is very hard for the English ear to hear. So they have I think of a banner, like the Bannermen, and it's kind of like Tian, except they have little arms sticking up, and this person kind of going through the sky. So bannermen in the open sky cheering. I think I have Sanxi and Sanxi. Okay, then we got these 4 water-related provinces. There's north of the lake. So Hebei. He is lake and Bei is north, just like Beijing. So so we know we have the 3 watermarks, Sandian Sui, and He is river, and I think there's a mouth there, and then there's the ding, like we talked about. It's just the water is spiky there. Bei, He, and then Bei, and then of course there's the southern one. So you get 2 for 1. Once you learn to write one, you can learn to write the second one. Okay, and then Hu is lake. So river, North River, South River. So there must be a river there. And then lake. So we'll call it a lake here. And then there's Hu. So it's a plus sign over a mouth and a moon. So I think of kind of like they're having a picnic, eating by the lake in the moonlight. Hubei, and then Hunan. Nan is south again. So again, you get 2 for 1, the Hu. Okay, so we got Sichuan spicy, we got Guizhou spicy, we got Hunan spicy, and then we got one more that's spicy is Chongqing. So this one, there's a lot of lines here. So cap on top, a line with will be a tian, another line, go all the, oops, I forgot the line there, and then all the way through. Okay, so it's a lot of lines vertically to squeeze in there. So it's probably a little taller than I like. And then Chongqing. This one's kind of like the Guang below, and then you put a person inside. Chongqing. All right. So central China, I was remembering that there was 7 of these guys to add up to 10 total. So 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Ning. Ning is like a polite way to say you. So, and it's basically the same as Liaoning over here. Ning, Xia. Xia is in summer. So, oops, cap. 2 lines in this box here, and a seat, kind of like the same seat over here in Anhui's Hui. Okay, so there's 7 dudes, 7 provinces over here, and then I was going to do 3 here. I must be missing one. So let's see. I was finally doing the eastern side. Let me see how I remember the 5, 5, 5, and then 10 in the middle, split in 7, 3, and then 5 provinces on the side. So let's see. First, we have south of Mongolia is China's Mongolia. So Ne means inner Mongolia. So a person kind of inside this little box. Mong, so for the Mongolia, the Mong. This is a little character, it's a little complicated. So the grass radical, cap, line, okay, and then this turns out to be a character for pig. So pig under the grass in the house, and Ne Monggu. It looks like the G in Jiling, except there's one extra line missing there. All right, so that's Ne Monggu. And then we have Gansu. This character, to me, looks like one of the oldest characters. Like you kind of see it in a tomb or something, a very simple old character. It doesn't look too Chinese. And Gansu. Okay, Su. So kind of like this character in Tianjin and the side character in Fujian is we got the same upper part. Then when it goes now, then there's like the feet of like Heilongjiang, and that's really kind of a horse, associated with horse. So kind of looks like a moss, the little legs, the four legs running. And I think of open horses running in Gansu and Ne Monggu. All right, and then in the middle here, there's a salt lake, saltwater lake, and they thought it was a sea back then. So because it was huge, and so they called it Qing, as in clear. So 3 lines. I think of it as like s'mores on a stick over a moon. Qing, and then Hai, same as Hainan and Shanghai. Okay, Qinghai. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, and then we got 2 more over here. Xinjiang, which is close to all the stands here. So it's the guys that are being sent to quote concentration camps in China, a minority people here. So they wear a cap. And then there's the FT, kind of like the Zhejiang FT on the side here. Xin, sounds like new, but Xinjiang. And this is a fun character on the side. 1, 2, 3, and scoops down, and a plus over a square, kind of like in the Lake Hu little piece there, but it's hidden within this arrow, bow. So it's the bow, and you know, obviously they carry a lot of bows, riding on horses out here, similar to the Mongols. And then there's 1 line, a field, another line, a field, and a line. So lots of open space out there where they're riding in the bows. And then Tibet is Xizang, so sounds kind of similar. Xi is just west, and Zhang, and this is another character with a ton of strokes here, and it won't fit. So the grass character kind of like on top of Ne Mong, and on the top of Jiang Su, the Su. Okay, but this gets complicated. So got the line and all the way down. So I think that that's a cliff face, and there's 1 house, 2 houses hanging off of, or temples. Then there's another cliff face, and there's 3 houses hanging off of that, and then the other cliff face, and dash there. Whew, that's a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these guys are kind of Western China. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the middle China, and then Chongqing and Sichuan. Oh, am I missing one here? Anyway, I feel like I got them all. Those are the provinces of China. Let me think, did I miss anything else here? So just to recap here, let's see if we got it all down. We got North America here, we got Central America, South America, the European countries. Drawing the lines in between is really hard because they get all, there's a lot of small little countries in here cramped into this little space. All of Africa here, the Middle East, India, Asia, China, Southeast Asia, and Australia over here. All right, that's my attempt today, and we're wrapping it up at 1 hour and 5 minutes.